Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today we're going to make some fun, easy, interactive cards using the We Dance collection from Spellbinders. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut a bunch of these little pieces out. I figure since I want everything to be stable, I'm going to want to layer up some of these, and I decided to go ahead and try out my Sizzix sticky grid sheets to see if I could get those to work somewhat for me. The downside is that it's hard to get anything out of the dies, especially these that are open. If it's got a solid back, it's not such a big deal. Another thing is it keeps wanting to lift from my cutting plate. So I don't know what that's all about, but I have gotten quite a few of these and kind of got a little bit of a system that I'm starting on. So I'll go ahead and show you real time how that one works. So I already laid out all of my dies that I want to cut out, and I'm just putting a piece of cardstock down, cover that with it's going to be cutting into my magic mat as always, so that goes on next, and then I've got a second plate to go on top. And I'm just running this one through my Gemini Junior. You can do the same thing with your Spellbinders Platinum 6 or your Sizzix or whatever die cutting machine it is. Just use the sandwich that you guys normally would use. And then take these off. Some of them pop off without a problem right away. Some of them get stuck a little bit. But these that have got the solid backing behind the dies don't really get stuck as much. The ones that do, I am taking some low-tack tape that is somewhat sticky and pressing it in enough so that it starts to pull it up some. It did take a few times around to do that, and that means that I've lost a little bit of the sticky on that mat, but it is still sticking pretty well. This one is partially solid and partially not, and that one comes out without a problem. This one, no biggie, it's got the solid pieces there. And then this one is another one that does not have a solid piece behind, and that's because there are other pieces that you could layer. But using this tape lets me get my thumbnail underneath it and pop that up. So now I've got a bunch of more die cuts. Now the paper, when it is stuck to the rest of the mat, I don't know why, but sometimes it starts to tear when I try to pull it up. So I am going to try doing the exact same thing with the tape to just be able to get it pulled up enough for me to grab it. And now I'm holding my sticky grid down so it doesn't pull up. And you can see it is already starting to lift. This is a brand new sticky grid that I just put on this plate today. So now I am ready to go with another one. Okay, now I have cut out a lot of little bits to go over some of those, and I discovered I don't really have any pink to go over her legs, so I'm just going to use one of the scraps that were left over from the other cuts. I'm going to go ahead and run those through. And I did, looks like I accidentally had one of them kind of move, so that's okay. I just need to redo his shirt, that's fine. And I can't believe how fast I'm able to cut out a ton of pieces. And so far that was the only one that messed up. And this time I'm going to actually tape it in place. It doesn't have enough, the reason that it slid is there's not enough excess, enough around it for it to stick to the outside of the sticky grid. Or rather the sticky grid outside of the space of the die. But if I tape it in place, that should take care of that issue. I'm also going to tape some of these in place because I am pretty sure that they are not quite close enough. That the pieces are not quite big enough to actually stick to the sticky grid. And I don't want any sliding around this time. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it through one more time. I would have to say that probably the most time-consuming part for die cutting for me is positioning my dies in such a way that they're not going to shift. And this so far has been a great way for me not to have to worry about it. Okay, I am going to leave these right here on this mat, and the reason for that is because that way I don't have to go and resituate everything if I need some additional pieces. But I think I've got enough at this point that I can start putting something together. So next I'm trying something I hadn't done before. I had picked this up at the Dollar Tree probably 6 months ago, so I have not tried it yet. And so I'm going to try assembling some of these guys using basically using a spray box because I've got so many of them, and I don't know how thick I need them to be, so I'm going to just start off with a few and just kind of double them up and see how thick they look. And I'm going to use my older, no, those are my newer. Where's my older? I want to use my older reverse tweezers because they have been through everything over the last couple of years. And I'm just putting the adhesive side down onto one of the ones that doesn't have any adhesive and just lining it up. So now that one is 2 layers thick. I'm going to go ahead and add a third, and we shall see how that is. And part of this is because I feel that the legs should probably be more stable than pretty much the rest of the card. So now I've got 3 layers of the legs. I think I need to have an additional layer on top that's going to be colored, so I'm not going to do that yet, but I am going to go ahead and start layering some of the rest of these. And I think having 3 layers thick on the main pieces is probably going to be good enough so that when it's swinging around, it's not going to fall apart. The next part is going to be putting together the piece that is going to be the swinger, right? And then of course we would need to mount it onto our card. I need to have a foam piece that is smaller than the circle that is. So I am going to trim it down just a touch because I can always use the excess for a different project, maybe. And I'm going to try to leave, well, I was going to try to leave the paper on the other side of it, because what I need to do is line it up behind the skirt. This is for the lady. Line her legs up behind the skirt and put that little square in the center there. So I'll go ahead and put that down right there. See if I can get a little piece of, there we go, the release paper to go back on there, because I'm going to need to adhere that part to the card. I'm basically putting it in place so that all I have to do is add it to the card when I'm ready, once I have my backgrounds. I'm also going to use some anti-static powder around the edges because I don't want that to be getting caught on her skirt. I mean on her legs. So when I put the legs there, just holding those 2 pieces, you can see that it does swing back and forth, so that is going to be awesome. Now that we've got the mechanism done, we can go ahead and put together all of the little bits to make this into an actual card. I put together a glue bottle and other things for the other cards as well, just gluing everything together. You guys have probably seen how to do this multiple times. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mount that onto the card. So I'm removing that release paper, putting a little bit of liquid glue down, and then positioning my skirt and legs for the first of these cards, and you can see that those swing pretty nicely. Now I can just add the glue bottle to the top and that'll be all done. Do want to add some little hands though, so she's actually holding the glue bottle, and this card is going to be all finished. I did go ahead and do 3 different cards. I'll show you those in just a bit. Also, I came up with a way to do it basically using a stamp, doing some fussy cutting, and no dies. So what I'm going to be doing on the 16th of this month is having a card making class, a fun craft along card making class, making these little guys into some Mother's Day and Father's Day cards, as well as showing you how to do another card without using any dies if you don't have this set. So be sure to drop on by my website, that's edu.debbiejscraftingcorner.com, and register so that you can attend this fun class. You will have ongoing access after the fact, but I'd love to have you there in person. So if you'd like to see some more videos where I'm using some awesome Spellbinders products, be sure to check out this playlist. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too.